Welcome to the Music Round Table with your hosts,
Clint,
Lyle,
Vicky,
and me, Kim, where the only opinions that matter is our own. All right, so it is the next day. We did watch it last night, the second episode. What was it called, Lyle?
It is called Nowhere to Everywhere.
Thank you. Yeah, so we meant to do this last
title.
night. Yes, it is. Yeah, it was late. We got tired.
Yeah.
We needed to go to bed. So we're doing it this morning. So it's not as fresh in our minds, I suppose, but we'll give it a go. So what did everybody think of that episode last night?
so just recap, that's episode 2 of, what was it called?
Nowhere to
Thank
Everywhere.
you.
No,
Thank
all
you.
the
Goodnight.
Thank you, Goodnight.
Thank you,
The
Goodnight.
Bon Jovi
Bon
story.
Yes,
Yes.
just so you know what we're talking about. I found it very dark. It got dark.
At the end.
Yeah, it did.
I think at the very beginning, I think it started, it literally showed how they propelled from, just an average band to superstardom.
And then the downfall. Yeah. It showed the start of it anyways. Yeah. It was interesting. It was
Like when Doc finally
cracked.
came on board.
Oh,
Well,
Okay.
That's when Doc McGee came on board. That was
yeah.
The
if you
beginning
want
of
to say
the
that.
end.
Yeah, pretty much
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they hadn't even recorded Slippery yet.
No. So he was a huge help, I would say, but he also was a hindrance and a downfall, right?
Well, when he told them
Yeah.
when they were going to play Madison Square Garden, and they're
Yeah.
like, "No, you're not ready for that." And
Yeah.
they didn't. Do
They
very well.
bombed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they bombed.
But I think that was good for them, right? Like, how could
Well,
that be
like
bad?
I said, you can't have like meteoric success right off the bat because then you don't
No.
appreciate it.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I think it worked out well in their favor, even though it bombed. It's all good.
I think you have to bomb before you can get successful.
Absolutely.
And then they said too, like they had Runaway.
Yeah.
They recorded the first album. They had their whole life to write the first album,
Yes.
and now you had
2
What
weeks.
they say,
2 weeks.
3 weeks or something.
to-
Yeah.
to write your second album.
Yeah.
Is the second
It's
album
true.
going to be good? I like it.
Not with
I
that
like
kind
it,
of pressure.
but
I like
That's
it.
okay,
Pretty
but
rushed,
it's
yeah.
You could tell it was rushed.
I was going to say on that show, I don't think they necessarily bombed. It's just whatever could go wrong went wrong.
That's true. yes.
Which I think was
With the guitar, yes.
Yeah,
The
the
guitar.
perfect-
the perfect
Yeah.
storm of non-events.
Yeah, everything happened. But the thing is, they were able to pivot and they were still able to finish the show. Yes,
rallied,
it was mediocre, it wasn't the greatest, but they still finished the show.
Well-
So that does show something to their drive and their talent.
And their experience, like it helps with their experience level, right? Like that.
Yeah.
Okay, now we know what we can do under pressure, what we should do, what we shouldn't do, and move on, right?
Yeah.
If heaven forbid something like that were to happen again.
Yes, which I don't think it did. I think they worked
they
out
took
that
care
bug
of it.
pretty fast.
They did. They did. And once they were touring, because who didn't they
Oh
open
my
up for?
gosh,
Everybody,
that was
it seems.
amazing to see how many people
that
rapped.
was
And I
interesting.
think that's what led up to, like, from that first show,
Yeah.
you figured out what you had to do to get through it, and then figure out, okay, this is how you do a real show. And now next thing you open up for the Scorpions or
Scorpions,
for,
oh my gosh.
yeah.
Well, it was what they brought up is they were originally opening for 38 Special.
Yes.
And
yeah.
by the end of that tour, 38 Special was opening for them.
That's
Yes.
amazing.
That is amazing.
Quite the curve. In a year and a half? Was that a year and a half?
Yeah. And there's,
Something like that, yeah.
yeah, like several bands that have opened up for certain people, they're the headlining.
Yeah.
Or they're like, nope, we're done. We're going to headline our own.
Yeah.
And one of them was Def Leppard and Billy Squier.
Yeah.
Well, I was
So
saying,
that's the thing, right? So that's okay. You know you've got something.
Yeah.
And they knew they had something, and Doc knew they had something.
Yeah.
Now where can we go from there?
Yeah, I don't know if anyone picked up on that, and it was just in like little flyers or whatever brochures on the shows they showed. But at one point, they were touring with Skid Row.
I did
which
see that.
I thought was funny because one of the people that actually helped John with the original recordings was Dave the Six Sabo.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It is crazy. And then with Doc, and then okay, now you got your third album.
Yeah.
Record company. That doesn't sell,
You're out.
you're out.
Yeah. Pressure.
Which they said they met Desmond Child, and
Yes. That was
let's
so
make
cool
your
to hear
trip
from
up
him.
to Vancouver.
Yes, you're going to Vancouver.
because if you're going to record a stellar album, you have to do it
In Vancouver.
They're like,
Yeah.
we're going where? What? Why? And then they love
Clear across the country, yeah.
But they say all the beautiful
all the beautiful girls, all the
Strip
the
clubs.
bars, the strip clubs.
Yeah.
It was the perfect environment at the time. Yep.
Yeah, and the biggest surprise for me was during the writing for that, and when they said about living on a prayer. Oh, it's okay.
It's okay. He didn't want.
Yeah.
He
John
didn't
said
want
it's
to put
okay.
it on. Yeah, he didn't like it. Yeah.
Oh, we
I
could use
still
it
get a
somewhere.
kick
Maybe
out of that
don't.
story.
For a movie. Could be for a movie,
Because
yeah.
that's what they wanted to start doing, was writing
Yeah.
for other people, right?
Yeah, exactly. And Richie's like, no, it's a hit. It's a hit.
That
yeah.
takes me back to the Nickelback when we watched the Nickelback thing where the wife went,
That's a hit.
That's
Yeah.
Like, the guys are like,
Yeah,
it's
it's
whatever.
whatever.
No, that's a hit. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it was complete
Yeah.
opposite with Desmond because he came in with the title, You Give Love a Bad Name.
That's right. Yeah.
And then,
And Richie.
And then
yeah.
they wrote from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that was, I've never actually heard Desmond Child.
I've never
talk.
seen him. No,
I've heard of him, like, I've heard of him,
absolutely.
right,
That's why it was
obviously.
interesting that he was
I don't
on
know
there.
if you've owned an album in the 80s. You've
Desmond
had something
Child.
to do with
Yeah.
Desmond Child.
Yeah, but we've never seen him on a show or anything.
No,
like never
he's
heard
always
him
behind-
talk.
always
Behind the
behind the
scenes.
Didn't
Yeah.
know he was even in a band because they showed that.
Yes, they did.
And I was like, what?
well, most guys are like Jim Valance, turned
guess
into
so,
an
yeah.
amazing writer.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And Desmond Child and
yeah.
sought
Bob Rock.
after. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, Bob
Yeah.
Rock was in this too. I thought that was funny.
That was
seeing
good.
Bob
Yeah.
Rock. I know that guy.
As an engineer, but as an engineer,
as an engineer. Yeah,
Bruce Fairbairn.
and that's
Yeah.
why they came up was because of Bruce Fairbairn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rest
that
in
was
peace.
the reason.
But
Yeah, I was
yeah.
going to say, Miss Bruce Fairbairn. That was a tragic loss.
Yes.
and to come up with and to record that album,
Yeah, and it was good.
You were
So good.
So good.
you're launched. You're
Yeah.
number one.
Yeah.
Number one band from what You Give Love a Bad Name was number one. It did reach number one.
Yes.
Yes.
And the album cover was banned. Was not allowed to go
Yes,
through. I thought that was
Angela.
I remember hearing that.
Yeah,
And
I do too. I remember that happening. Yeah.
I wish I owned a copy of it.
Right.
So they had to pivot quickly and come up with the cover that they had now.
That was so.
So they were
So cool.
explaining it was just a
Yeah.
garbage bag.
With water.
With water, sprayed water on it,
Yeah.
and he wrote
Yeah.
"Slippery When Wet" in it, and
And
there you
boom,
go.
down.
There's your title.
Sometimes
Yeah.
simplistic, right, is best. I think I like a lot of those covers when it's just easy.
Well, to get that shot right away, like
Yeah.
an idea, like, because how long would that have actually stayed on there?
Not long.
Not long at all. That's
No.
why I was saying to him earlier. It's like I'm amazed at how good it looks.
Turned out, yeah.
If it was just a quick whatever, because it's
We need
water
to try
on a
it.
garbage
Let's
bag.
see how long it lasts.
Well, you think about it nowadays, it would be on our computer. So it's
Yeah.
easy.
Easy.
Yeah.
Just put it on there.
Yeah.
But he actually,
Nope. Just did it. Let's just
Took a photo.
Physically did it.
See, it's
yeah.
funny you say that. Okay, on the computer it's easy, but there is something organic about the way it was done. And
Yes.
that- and-
so off the
Moments.
cuff,
yeah.
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 like it was
Yeah.
just there.
Yeah.
And it worked. It
Made
worked
right then.
really well.
It did.
It did.
I mean, you never thought it was a garbage bag. I thought it was like some kind of graffiti kind of thing, whatever, right?
Yeah,
I could tell
I
there
mean,
was
I never
water,
really
but-
thought about it that
yeah.
deeply, but yeah, to
No.
hear it's just like a garbage bag with some water on
Like,
it, that's crazy.
genius. 25 cents, done.
Yeah.
Were they saying, I forget this now because it was last night.
I know.
Something about you're not cowboys or something like that.
Oh, because the way they were dressing. They're
Yes.
talking about all of their outfits and how they were going with the guys from California, I guess, with all the stuff they would wear, like the bandanas and the
ripped shirts
hats
and all
the
that.
ripped shirts. And so they were ripping their shirts and doing all that
Well,
stuff.
because they had wanted to
Yeah.
live as a song, so they
Yeah.
just figured we're going to be rocking cowboys.
Yeah, you're not cowboys.
And Doc's
It is
just like,
not.
no,
No.
like, you're boys from New Jersey.
Jersey.
Let's keep
Let's
you with boys
actually-
from Jersey kind
That's
of
right.
idea.
Yeah.
But they kept that.
Some
I think
of
they
it.
mixed the look.
They did. Well, because they still wore cowboy boots.
Yeah.
They still wear some bandanas here
Yeah.
and there, or scarves. And I actually really liked that look. I have
Yeah.
to say I did like that look.
It was very iconic 80s rocker style.
They
Yeah.
lost the makeup. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Because that was, I hadn't
That was
seen that,
awful.
right? I was like,
Yeah,
what
it
is
was
that?
awful.
Look at the makeup. Okay. So that was around
a heavy
the same point too,
eyeliner,
where they're
yeah.
like, no, you guys aren't, you gotta do something
Yeah.
different, right? So,
Well, that's
good.
where
And promote the fact that they're from Jersey.
yeah.
Well, promote the fact they're from Jersey and the fact that these are a live band. This is a
Yeah.
band to go see because it's the live show.
Well,
Yeah.
that's when they started talking about their videos because the
Yes.
other videos were
Concept videos by
concept-
someone
exactly.
someone who
And
has
they
no
came
idea
up
what
with-
what the song's about.
And then with You Give Love a Bad Name,
Yeah.
what video, like they just live, here you go.
Yeah. Well, because what did John say? I don't want any. You come to me and tell me what your idea is.
Yeah.
No, I don't want
No.
you.
And I thought that was pretty
I was
cool.
like, good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the next
Yeah.
3 videos
Yeah,
was all live.
They were all
Yeah.
live ones. Yeah.
which is good. It's perfect.
Yeah.
And that's a common theme even for the next album. But
Yeah.
to have,
Pyro and everything, great. Oh,
but to write those songs like such, to hear that Living on a Prayer was,
yeah. And it's not to us.
it's not
No,
to us now, but
no.
at the time, like you said, it was just that thumping
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He didn't like it because it was only one chord. Or
chord.
whatever. Yeah.
And then they come up here and I I think I read this and it wasn't on there, but Hugh McDonald came up with the bass line. And he was like, there we go.
Now it's better. Yeah.
Now we've got a hit.
No, I think they mentioned that.
Did they?
Yeah, pretty sure they did.
So it was just like, wow. And you get that iconic chord.
Like, that's just how you start a concert to me. That song.
Well,
It's a great opening song.
They have a lot of songs though that have that great kind of
opening
intro that just kind of sucks you in. You get the goosebumps.
Like Lay Your Hands on Me.
Lay Your Hands on Me is a huge one. Yeah.
Let It Rock on that album.
Yeah.
Same thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You got that whole keyboard intro.
Yeah.
It almost seems like a staple for them.
Yeah.
To have that.
Yeah.
Let It Rock. You know, they mentioned Vancouver. Gotta love
Of course.
I know. I love that part.
No,
where they
we don't have hotel pride at all.
But it's where they have the inspiration for a lot of their songs was because of
Exactly.
our clubs.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that
Absolutely.
because it
That's
turned out
okay.
really good.
Which is sad to say because most of them are gone nowadays.
They are
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah, I think there's only a couple now.
Yeah, there's not a lot. Because what was he saying? There was the one that had the shower in the actual club. Like, obviously, we were way too young to ever be at that club at that point. But honestly,
Yeah,
I
it was long gone by the time we reached clubbing age.
Yeah.
I forget the name of it, but I know which one they're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would just been really interesting to go in and see and be like, oh, there's actually a shower in
Yeah.
here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What the heck, right?
I think I remember now, but
It very well could have been in New West.
no, it was Vancouver.
It was in Vancouver because
Yeah.
New West had a lot of that on that one strip there.
The Paramount.
Yeah.
Paramount, yeah.
No, this one
It's
was.
still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think
Would
it was,
not go in there.
I
He'd
think I
pay
believe
me.
it was called the Mirage. I think it was when you came off of Granville. I think it was right there,
Oh, okay.
which I think was around Little Mountain. I think it was.
Oh,
around
probably.
there.
They probably
Oh,
didn't
probably.
go far.
Yeah. That's why.
It's that whole area is quite
Yeah.
like close to each other. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it was just on the other side. Yeah, because they just had to hop across.
Perfect for
Within,
building an
you know,
album.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's just
Within a good geographical region to get inspired.
yeah, and
We've recorded to midnight. What do we do now? Strip club.
Strip club.
yeah,
It's time to play.
yes. And what happens after you have a very successful album?
Tour.
You go on tour.
Tours. Lots of
And
tours. They toured for a very long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
16 months?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Something like
18
that.
months.
Yeah.
Was it 18 and 16 then?
Yeah, they said a couple different numbers in there. So it was like
Wow.
I think Slippery was 18 and
But it was
Jersey
constant. Like they
was
never,
16.
they very had the time off.
No,
No.
they had 2 weeks off. I think is what they said, right? 2
Yeah.
weeks and then
It
back
was,
at it.
2 weeks and then back into the studio and then back out promoting it.
Yeah.
They were
Because that's where
tired.
they were making the joke with Doc or whatever. Because it's like 300 shows in a year. So
Sure, we can do that.
65 days off in a
Yeah,
year.
that's what John was saying.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
couldn't, as a singer, I couldn't even imagine.
No, and this is
No,
why he's having
240
issues,
shows seem crazy to me, let alone 300.
right? 300, yeah.
Yeah.
As a musician, it'd be like, okay, guitar player, yeah, sure, whatever.
But singing, no,
But
like,
singing,
that's
like,
your
and you could tell his voice was even struggling
back
at that
then.
point.
Yeah, it didn't sound
Yeah.
great, and
But-
they just abused
Which I
it,
had
right?
no idea
Yeah,
that he had voice issues that early on.
I remember reading about it, and I remember them before that next album came out. That's why they had such a long. Well, part of the reason they had such a long break, he was hurting. Like I think he was kind of over. Right, he was done. He wanted to do something else, and that break revitalized things. I think they all needed that break because look how much
Yeah,
Doc
between New
abused
Jersey and
him.
Keep the Faith, you're talking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They needed a long break to recover because they were all like, even Tico would have been like, come on, the amount of body you use when you're a drummer, like, he couldn't have been doing well either, right? And he's 10 years older than them. So, yeah.
I couldn't, like, well, how old were we? I wouldn't even know how much to her. All we were concerned about
Well, it was 12 when Slippery
12.
came
yeah,
out.
exactly.
11, 12,
like,
yeah.
we wouldn't know.
No, we had no idea.
We had no idea.
I didn't even know about concerts, to be honest, at 12.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Right?
So, yeah. You did.
Again, older
But we
siblings.
don't, when you go to a concert, though, you don't know how many shows they just finished, how
No.
many shows they
No.
got
Got
coming,
ahead of
are
them,
they
yeah.
touring around the world.
Yeah.
No.
We're just happy to see them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which is a testament to a lot of the bands that are out there. Is you see this amazing show and you feel like this is their first show and it's fresh. To come to realize that it's like
100th
They're
show
months
or
in.
whatever.
Yeah.
With
Another
rest.
month or two to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine.
No. And he didn't have anybody protecting them saying, no, you guys need a break. Because there
was no doctors back then.
No.
It's
And they're
like,
just going,
no.
keep going. Let's strike while the iron's hot. You guys are in the
Dance, monkey dance.
Yeah. We're going
Yes.
to make all this money off you.
Hop
I
on
don't
the bus,
care.
hop
Keep
on the
going.
airplane,
Keep
go.
going.
Yep, next country.
None of this like, oh, maybe you guys should take a break. No. And that's not good.
Well, and then as I was watching it and they were showing clips of like different videos, especially the ones from Slippery.
Yeah.
And, you know, like some of the ones at the end of like Wanted and stuff like that, where he looks exhausted.
Yeah.
And like, now I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I get that you're tired after, quote, tired after a concert, but like
Mentally,
now
physically.
I understand why he looked so exhausted.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Because he's always jumping around the stage too, right? Like, think about how much he's putting out on there. And then he has to go do it again the next night.
Well, and then they showed when they were warming up and after he did a show and he's just like, I'm done. And just lied right on the floor.
Lay on the floor.
Yeah. It's
like he couldn't even move after.
And I know they put on long shows.
Yeah, they do.
And he does jump around even at his age. He's still jumping around. He's still running around.
That's another thing that's impressive about it is his physical condition. Because like I've seen
his conditioning has to do it though. Like just even get to that point.
Yeah.
Like, my God.
Yeah, because he's 60 and he's like in mid shape. Like his body, you can't. There's nothing moving. Like it was solid.
It looks like a 20-year-old body.
Yeah. Yeah. Like kudos, dude. That's awesome.
Like for doing it that long. 30 years, 40 years, I guess.
40
now
years
it's
now.
like I couldn't imagine.
No.
Yeah.
7 days a week,
Keeping your instrument
365 days
in shape.
That was his instrument.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he had to play guitar too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because he does for a lot of his songs.
That's right.
Although he says he said it before, he didn't say it in this yet, but he's not a great guitar player. He even said, like, he said it in other documentaries I've seen and on other like magazine interviews that it's not his thing. He'll do it, but he's mediocre at best.
But that's what he had Richie for.
That's
why he had Richie.
That is why he has Richie.
But he was able to, the parts that he had to play, it complemented.
It did. He's good at acoustic too, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like that's
Like you're playing the rhythm because at that time, well, now they have a rhythm guitar player.
They do.
Yeah.
But back at that time, it was just
the four of them. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was great.
Yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. They made it. I don't know how they made it work, but they did.
5 of them. Yeah.
Like
the thing I found was interesting is I remember, obviously being back in the 80s, is I remember when he did the ads for the drugs, like Rockers Against Drugs.
Do you
I remember it.
Yeah.
I did not realize the reason that he had to do it.
Again, Doc McGee,
which
bad.
was because of Doc McGee.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of funny to see is obviously you see them on a plane, so it's not just Bon Jovi promoting it, but it was a whole
bunch of bands.
a whole slew of brands, all associated with Doc McGee promoting it. And it's funny is you look at some of those bands and I'm going, well, they're drug users. They're drug users.
Well, that's what he said. That's what they said on the plane. Yeah,
they're doing drugs.
Yeah, they're promoting not to do it, but yet they're
in the back.
They're partying on the airplane.
Alcohol, drugs.
Well, see, there's nothing. So when they started off, they didn't
drugs,
do anything.
and rock and roll.
Absolutely.
There was no drug. They could not drink on stage.
Right.
They couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what were they doing
In Mexico
afterwards?
Right?
But later on,
And in between.
Yeah.
shows they were drinking leading up to it.
Yeah.
Before, nothing. You could not do it.
Well, to be fair,
That
though,
was what
John was saying that was a no-no.
But he didn't drink. He didn't.
But then they did in Mexico.
Yes.
Right? Because that was a whole shit show too.
And that was the last two shows of that tour,
they were just like, he said they were on stage drunk.
Yeah.
They were drinking on stage because they just wanted out. And that was near the end of the tour, I think, right?
Yeah.
That was their
that was the
last
last two shows. That was the last two shows of the tour.
They wanted
to finish it.
239 and 240 it was supposed to be.
Just
to go.
To get away from each other.
Yes.
Because there was that recording tour, 2 weeks off.
And then stuck there. They were
stuck there. They just wanted to go home. Like, I remember hearing that they all took a plane or something. They just
scattered.
Separate.
That was it. Like, what were they going
and
through?
It was like, what are they coming back? What's happening? Because there was quite a long break in between or after that.
Yeah, but it shows it. It's all led, like, it was already obviously too much for them to begin with, but because of the Doc McGee issues that they had to do all these things for him because of what he did to keep him out of jail. Would it have been as bad if they didn't have to do all those extra things? Like, that actually put more pressure on them as a band because they had to do extra things. That's why they went to Russia. That's why they went to Mexico. Like, they were doing all of that drug-free promotion because of Doc McGee.
Well, and the band was getting pissed off because John was always up at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
And same with Richie too. Sorry. Yeah. They were doing the
radio promos and stuff like that.
Radio call-ins.
Yeah.
Like, they could be on the East Coast.
Yeah.
But they got to call into the West Coast or vice versa. They could be on the West Coast and they got to call East.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For an 8 o'clock in the morning, say radio hit in the East, well, it's 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock on the West Coast.
They just got off the stage at 11 o'clock that night because what do you say? Their latest one was 2 hours and
2 hours and 40 minutes.
40 minutes, and they were like, "Oh, we can cut 20 minutes off." Like,
and he's like, do I want to cut it?
Right?
Yeah.
like that strain alone, like there's no rest.
There's no rest.
No.
And then you got
and
sound
Doc
check,
works
and
them to the bone.
He does, yeah.
Like, to the bone.
And he does that with every band. Like he did that with Kiss. He did that
Yeah.
with, I guess he was manager for Motley Crue.
Which it's his job to bring in the money. I get it, but these are also these are people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
not just a cash cow.
Yeah, like you're still going to get the money out of them if you work them properly. But why are you like hit? Come on, like eventually they're going to break, and then you're not going to have anything more, right? Or they're going to leave you, which we know that's what happens.
Yeah, but that is a fickle thing, like with the industry. So I'm in no way sympathizing with Doc McGee or whatever, but you're striking when the iron is hot, because unfortunately fans are here and now,
and they're fickle.
So you have to kind of cash in now while you can, because especially if you go away for too long, things change. Oh, who was that band? And like that happens to
Which
a lot of...
Yeah, but like the amount he pushed compared to others, I don't know. Like, I think
that's just it. I mean, I think they still could have gotten what they got out of it.
Yeah,
without having to push that hard.
Yeah.
At least give him 6 months. But I agree. Like 6 months off rather than 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Record again. Like, sure.
But like I think they were all young at that time, and it was just
they're all go. Yeah,
chasing
the dream.
They didn't know any better.
Yeah,
they didn't know how to say no.
Yeah,
and they're just like, this guy should know. He's there for us. He's to protect us. He's to in our best interests. It's not the way it is, right?
Little did they know.
Yeah, they figured it out.
To the detriment of almost not having a band anymore.
Yes. Yeah, that's what it took.
Well, that was the shocker, like their attitudes towards the end of the New Jersey tour. And like they just wanted to, that was it. Do we call it?
Yeah.
Or do we keep like,
it made me very sad. Just
me
seeing
too.
But we didn't
seeing
hear
the emotion.
I don't remember.
I don't remember. I just remember when there was that break. Like it seemed like we hadn't heard from them for a really long time. But again, I was still, I think, a little bit too young to really.
I only read about it
to really understand
later.
and appreciate it. Yeah.
Like I remember when they came back.
Yeah, because John cut his hair, and we were all like, "Oh my god,
what the hell? You go away and you cut your hair? How dare you?"
Well, yeah, because we heard the solos.
Yeah.
Because John released his solo, Richie did his solo.
Yeah.
Which they needed that time. They needed to do that stuff.
Oh, yeah, branch out, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think that was the best. Like, obviously, I'm assuming that's what's going to be covered in the
That's what I'm thinking too, yeah.
In the next episode,
But I think that is what they all needed as artists.
Absolutely.
They needed
that
the break
time
from
away
each other.
to kind of recharge their own batteries in their own way.
Yeah.
It's a little hard when it's, 5 guys in a room all the time, same living quarters and stuff like this. Like eventually you need, you need
your
time
space.
away.
Yeah.
You need your family.
Love you guys, but F off.
Yeah.
I could imagine.
No.
Yeah.
It'd be like living with your parents again. Think about it that way.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
No.
I'm good, thanks.
Love them, but no.
Yeah.
Right?
Again, I didn't have a good time with it.
The first time, you don't want to try again.
Don't want to try
Mom.
again. Yeah. Love you, but I cannot live with you. Yeah.
That means your parents would have to be together.
But because of that, she brought you into the music and
Yeah.
appreciating music and
Yeah.
appreciating everything. So
Yeah.
got to look at all that.
Good.
For sure.
Exactly. You're not going to be who you are if you don't have these trials and tribulations in your
No, and
life,
I think
including them, right?
Maybe that was what made them stronger.
I think it did, because all
Yeah.
those different experiences when they brought back and came back together to do Keep the Faith, which was different. Right?
Yes, it
was
was.
different, but it was so
It was good in a really good way.
Well,
Yeah.
it was different, and it was also at a good time, because you also have to realize is obviously they were pretty much the hair metal band of the 80s.
Yep.
Yeah.
They went away, they came back in 90s. Well, guess what? You kind of get this grunge and like the whole shift in the whole music industry. So it was to their advantage to come at it with a little bit differently.
Yeah, definitely.
And I can understand where the A&R people are going to be coming from. Like, well, where's the hits? This isn't what you had before. Well, what I had the year before was 4 years ago. We have to move forward.
Exactly.
And that's like, I'll say that all the way through this. The music industry always ebbs and flows.
Yep.
Well, yeah, they just wiped the slate clean and they started fresh, which you can't usually do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's nice.
But they were also called, I know now it's hair metal.
Yeah.
But they were
Called heavy
classified
metal.
heavy metal.
I was like, what? How are they heavy metal?
Because I was not a fan of quote heavy metal
No,
when I
like
was
Iron
that
Maiden
age.
and
I was
stuff
like,
like that?
no,
No.
Yeah, no, they weren't like
They were not
rock.
They were like
I would say they were
rocker.
Yeah.
Maybe even a little bit on the hard side,
Sure,
but not
heavy metal.
no.
They had airplay. Heavy metal artists normally didn't have a lot of airplay.
Yeah.
No, they're more like pop rock.
We
I
heard
guess.
we heard
Yeah.
Rat, we heard Motley Crue sometimes.
Even Motley Crue's not heavy
But-
metal, right?
But they were
They were
classified as heavy metal.
rock.
Like,
It's glam rock
Yeah.
now, but
like,
yeah.
No.
you know what I mean? Like they were taken to court.
Yeah.
They did all those things as well as
Yeah.
the other metal artists. But I saw that and I'm like,
I just
No.
consider them
Heavy metal.
rock. I just
Yeah.
that's
Well,
it.
see, that was
That's
the
what
thing.
music
Is
now, right?
when we grew up, it was literally you had very few categories.
Yeah.
There was country, which
Yeah.
kind of the folky sound kind of music. There was R&B, which rap would have been a part of the R&B.
Yeah.
And then
Like pop and rock.
and then
pop rock.
pop rock, which
Yeah.
was usually one category
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
it
The record
wouldn't be-
store
It
was.
wouldn't be
Yeah.
uncommon for you hearing something like Tina Turner and Aretha Franklin and Bon Jovi because it was just
All in the same category.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
And now there's just so many different.
well now it's like this
Yeah.
classification and it's metal, but then it's death metal and then it's.
But do you remember when
Yeah.
they came out with
Thrash rock
it was still all those same categories we had, and then all of a sudden it was alternative, and that's where all that other stuff went. And then it was a few more years, and then they were like, okay, now we're gonna go. No, it's this department, this department, this department. You're like, I don't even know what anything
I'm so
is under
confused.
anymore.
It's just
Oh well,
rock.
yeah, because like
To me, it's
alternative.
just music. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Alternative is the funniest one that ever came out to me. Is like alternative came out and literally alternative means I have no idea how to classify this, so
Yes.
we'll just call it
We'll
alternative.
just call it alternative. Yep.
yeah.
Too funny.
But it's on our Facebook page. Is the one thing is that they list all the categories of like the 80s music or whatever. Which kind of rock are you?
Well, whoops,
I
I'm
owned
all of
almost every album on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm missing a
little
couple.
bit of everything.
but
We don't fall under those
No.
singular
No, it's a little bit of
genres.
both.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of
All of
everything.
it.
Yeah.
We are music mutts.
A little bit of everything.
We are
Yeah.
pretty much.
We need a T-shirt with that. Music mutts.
Music mutts of the round table.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Nice. I like it.
Huh, an idea. now.
Trademarked.
Ooh, might have an idea for
Merchandise. Got a merch.
Well, on that note, shall we
Go
move
watch
on
the
to the
next
third
one?
part?
Yeah,
And then we'll
here
come
we
back
go.
and
Get to
discuss.
relax a
But
little bit.
because they don't make it sound like a chore. Oh yeah.
Oh, darn, we gotta go watch
no,
now.
I think I need it. So
yeah.
I'm
We
a
do.
little tired.
Yeah,
but,
a little tired, but you're here.
I'm here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're
You can
good.
always nap. We'll just watch it and tell you what happened after.
Perfect.
Yeah, there we go. We'll talk about it in
No,
front of you.
actually, Kate, you know what will happen there is they'll nap, they'll enjoy it the whole time. You'll wake up going, oh, well, no, it was really good. You have to watch it. And they will watch it again.
Yes, we will watch
Absolutely,
it again.
we would. Yeah.
No, you guys are
100%.
good. See, we'll finish it off tonight, and
Yeah.
then you will be. You'll probably end up watching it tomorrow.
I say you'll be free to
yeah.
watch,
Oh, I
watch it at your
guarantee you.
leisure.
I bet you this has been planning in her mind is, oh, good, we've seen it, so I can watch it again.
I can watch it
I know.
again.
Oh yeah, my
And
next
again.
day off when Alan's not home.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
watch it again. 'Cause then
Absolutely.
You have to watch it more than once because there's going to be things you miss. There always is.
Always is.
Right?
Yeah.
And you just want to see all the pictures again too. And
Listen,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
want to listen to
Backgrounds.
this. I want to watch this one again because
Yeah.
I know I missed some stuff
we
Yeah,
always will.
did.
or
Yeah.
stuff that.
Well,
tend to talk.
there was that, but we were watching it a little late last night.
We were.
Too late last
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
So
Probably.
Yeah.
Whoops.
I know by the end of it when it started going dark, I'm trying to hold myself on.
Yeah.
I was still wide awake,
But it
but,
was
that's
so
just me.
Yeah.
interesting.
It was.
Oh, it
was
was
very- it's
interesting.
very
Behind the
interesting.
scenes stuff
Don't
is
get me
so
wrong. It was just
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, especially when Sambora came on there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That hasn't dropped yet. And I'm like, come on, talk about it. It'll probably be the last episode.
yeah.
possible.
Well,
I
it
don't
would
know.
have to be because, like, if we're making predictions or whatever, obviously we haven't seen the third episode. Obviously, we ended with the New Jersey tour where they were just stressed
Done.
out.
Yep.
So
And
this
they
next
walked
one
away.
is going to be about their expansions and
coming
the
back
Coming back
resurgence.
together. Yep.
We'll have to be.
Oh, okay. I'm excited. Let's go.
All
All
right.
right. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, see you soon.
See you soon. Talk to you soon.